You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
It's a different day. I've got the duck in because he's part of You Cannot Be Serious. So the duck is, that's interesting, Duck. He's just taken some chewing gum out of his mouth and stuck it on the face of his phone.
I figured that it's not professional to have, chewing on a piece of chewy.
Well, you must have known we were going to go and do this 10 seconds before you took it out of your mouth.
I did, but you started the show while I was still doing my notes because I'm so well...
Notes? Well, you've got some notes this week.
I've always got the diary.
So I've finally, it's taken a while to work out what you're not into the politics of what's going on. I had the things about the bird man who's defacing the city. I've got red dye.
I tell you what, before we start, what we should do is send our condolences to the Selwood, a great Geelong name and a great Geelong family. One of the legends of your footy club. His brother obviously passed away. And obviously we would like to send the condolences to the Selwood family. They are a beautiful family. I've met them all, and very, very sad day. And it's probably a good time to also touch on, given those things about, and I know we spoke a little while ago about this, and I've done a little bit of this when I used to do my podcast, and that is about, mental health issues, and it's still a massive issue. COVID exacerbated it, and it's a huge issue in society. And as I said, it's a huge loss to the footy world, but just another example of just not knowing what people are going through in one's life. So once again, the judgment that people give from afar, and the pressure that some people do, and they don't realise the pressure that they can put on people, and things that they say and the things that they don't say can have a profound effect. And I think it's another wake up call to us all to look after one another, judge less.
Well, I concur absolutely with Joel and his family, and if I'd had his mobile number, I would have texted him, but this will suffice.
I'll pass on his number.
Yeah, I'll tell you about people under pressure. Let me tell you about that. So anyhow, Wayne, someone made a point. They've been watching this on You Cannot Be Serious podcast, and they said...
I actually had a shave today too for this. I thought I'd had a shave, put the moisturiser on.
A lot shinier than normal. You've done something. Your hair's buffed up.
Mate, I washed my hair. I had a shave, and I thought I'm just going to come in a little bit spruced up.
And they said they've noticed that you sit much lower in the chair than Wayne. He seems to be up and the dominant figure in this.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Look. I'm watching it there now. I'm sort of sitting here half under the table. You're up like cocky here. And I said, well, that's fine. Wayne is the dominant person in this. I'm just here as I'm an enabler.
Yeah,
I get you
an enabler.
I
don't think you would.
An enabler.
Yes, so I know what an enabler is.
I was going to ask you about Great Northern Going Woke, the beer company. But before we get waylaid, I know you're not into all those things, and you're just around. We'll get on to someone made.
Yes.
Do you know who Macca and Ralphie are?
Macca and Ralphie?
They've brought out the top 50 players in the AFL this century in the last 25 years.
Yep, okay. Yep.
So are you across that?
No, I'm not.
You're not. Well, shit, I'm trying to get you things that you can fucking talk about.
I can talk about it. There's no problem. I'll give you the top. The last 25 years. You want me to give you the top three? Straight off the top of my head. And I haven't looked at it.
Well, just a minute.
It'd be Ablett Jr., obviously. Gary Ablett Jr. It'd be Buddy Franklin, and it'd have to be Dusty Martin. Yes, right. It'd have to be Paddy Dangerfield, Joel Selwood, Scott Pendlebury.
Hang on.
There's your top six. Bang. Gone. Max gone. Do you want me to,
I'm going to read out.
I just did, and I don't even know.
I'm going to read out what they say.
Okay,
Whoever
well,
Macca and
no one.
Who's Macca?
I think people are going to listen to what I'm saying above those two.
This is why I'm bringing it up, Duck. You fucking imbecile. This is exactly. Who is Macca?
Oh, I think Macca. He's been at the Herald Sun for.
What's his name?
He's been at the Herald Sun for 50 years.
Okay, well look, it says here. Can you see Ralphie and Macca's top?
Yeah,
50?
Ralphie. That's they're journos for the Herald Sun. They've been there for 50 years each.
Who'd they play for? Did Ralphie?
Well, they didn't play. I don't think they.
Oh, I see. They're not footballers.
Well, yeah, they probably played local footy. Just,
I see. No,
by the way, the great Mike Sheehan, I know he played VFA, but just because they didn't play at the top level doesn't mean
Same
they
with
don't
Caroline
know.
Wilson.
Doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about.
Of course it doesn't. I've got a feeling that you just said, I'd know more about it than put together.
Yeah, but so that's just the ego of you and I.
Oh, you got an
we
ego.
automatically, because we're in the 300 club together, we automatically think that we know more because we played AFL, VFL football.
Oh,
in saying that, you don't have to have played at the top level to understand the game or know about the game. Now, in most cases, would more people listen to what my view on the best players? Maybe.
Oh, you just said they would.
I said they probably would.
You said,
maybe.
I've just given you the top 6, you said.
I'll give you, give me their...
I was about to.
Okay.
And you said...
I'll give you mine.
And I said, who is Macca and Ralphie? And you said...
Without even thinking, it'd be Gary Ablett Jr., it'd be Buddy Franklin, Dusty Martin, Paddy Dangerfield, Joel Selwood.
I'm going to read out.
Okay.
Well, you've got to make sure they played this century.
Yes, I know, and all of those have.
Did they? Yes, right. So there's
otherwise I'd put myself in.
So of course you would.
No, I
wouldn't. So what I'm interested in that man there, Eddie Betts, is not in the top 50 players. Is not in
the top 50?
Well, he's not in their best side. So why is there a picture of him there? Why have they got a picture?
Probably to make an example of how hard it is to get in a very good player not getting in.
Why don't they put another Indigenous person as a photo who they say is the best player, and that's Buddy Franklin.
I think it'd be saying. I think it's saying this is how good this team is. Eddie Betts hasn't made it. That's how I view that.
What absolute bullshit.
Anyway,
why don't they put Buddy Franklin there?
Give me the
right.
top 5 because I reckon I've nailed it.
No, but I'm giving you the.
Give me the top 10 actually.
Shut up. I'm giving it to. This is the side they reckon is the best this year, this century.
Hang on. Oh, it's a team.
Yes.
I thought you said top 50.
The top 10.
Okay, it's top 10.
Top 25 this century.
Top 25. Well, I've got it here as...
Wayne Carey played this century.
These is who they say is the top 25. You read them out. Go on. Can you read?
The top 25,
glasses.
of course I can read.
Righto, go on.
No, that's the team.
That's right.
That's not the top 25. That's...
Well, how many in a side?
Yeah, okay, all right. So Corey Enright, Matthew Scarlett, Alex Rance. They've got Luke Hodge.
You'd agree with those for a start?
Jerry
Do
McGovern.
you agree with those for a start?
As a defence, you couldn't disagree. Andrew McLeod.
Well, you can't have all.
I'd argue Andrew McLeod played his best footy in the 90s, not in the 2000s. He won his Norm Smiths in the 90s. Not all right. So do you get my point there?
Yeah, I do.
So I think that Scott Pendlebury definitely. Michael Voss. He won all of his in the 2000s. So yes, Goods, yes. Dusty Martin, obviously. Lance Franklin, obviously. Nick Rewalt, Cyril Rioli, Lloyd. Yeah, Lloyd was 2000s. Yeah, Dangerfield, obviously. Gawn, definitely. Judd, Gary Ablett Jr., which I've already said.
Yes, you did.
Pavlich, Selwood, I said too. Bontempelli, yeah, definitely. Lockie Neal. Well, you can't argue with anyone in that team.
Eddie Betts is not there.
Well,
Why didn't they have a photograph of Lance Franklin? They say he is the best.
Bloody good team to get in. And they've got, guess what? They've got a picture of Boomer Harvey too, and he didn't get in.
And they said they found it.
So there's Boomer Harvey's picture of Boomer, and he didn't get in.
Because that's on another page. They said
doesn't matter.
They feel absolutely disgracefully disgusted that they couldn't fit him in.
Boomer?
Yes, that's what they say there.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard team to get in.
Well, so do you agree with it?
I can't argue with the team. They're stiff blokes, obviously. I haven't sat down and studied it, but every player in that team's a gun. Superstar, champion. Champion gets thrown around far too often, and I'd argue every person in that team probably will go down as a champion.
Well, they found it very hard that they said it kills us not to have Brent Harvey in the team.
Do you agree that that the word champion in our game gets thrown around too easy after a year or two?
Yes.
And every player in that team has been club champions. They're all club champions. Yeah. They're Brownlow medalists. There's Norm Smith medalists. The only thing I disagree about a couple of people in that team is they didn't play their best foot. Couple of them didn't play their best foot in the 2000s.
And they said Lance Franklin was the best this century. Would you agree with that? Between him,
Pendlebury, Gary Ablett Jr., Dangerfield, Gawn, Selwood. I think you could throw a blanket over all of those.
Was the great
guys.
Lance Franklin
the best
after Hawthorn? Was he any good up at the Swans?
I'll tell you what I'll say, and I've said this before.
Have you?
And I'll say it again, and I've got criticised. Gary Ablett Jr. is he's a champion, and he'll be a legend.
Champion.
He'll be a legend.
You've just given that word out again.
He'll be a legend of the AFL one day. I will say this though,
a legend.
He'll be a legend, and as will Lance Franklin. I just want to say, in saying that,
really?
if you are arguably the best player in your team, which he was when he left Geelong, and then you had the best player at Hawthorn leave Hawthorn, and they won premierships the year after both their best players left. I'd argue if Dusty Martin left Richmond, they don't win the premiership the year after. I'd argue that if Paddy Dangerfield wasn't in Geelong in the premiership recently, then they don't win that. And what I'm saying by that, I think they're both unbelievable players, but it is a rarity in any sport at the top level that the best player of that team leaves and then that team wins the championship the year after. And that happened to both Franklin and Ablett Jr.
So you're saying that them missing didn't make that much difference?
Well, clearly it didn't.
No, thank you. So,
but you can't argue with that. You can't argue with that. I thought Macca and Ralph Mouth. You know who Ralph Mouth is?
No, I don't.
Oh, come on, Happy Days.
No.
Potsy, Ralph Mouth, the Fonz.
No, I'm a different...
You don't know who the Fonz is?
I know who the Fonz is.
Well, Ralph Mouth and Potsy were his best mates, and Richie.
Well, I know who the Fonz is. I don't know the whole family tree of the fucking show. What are you talking about?
Come on. Well, Ralphie and Macca from the Herald Sun have done a good job with that.
Do you know who Pooh Bear is? Enid Blyton
Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
do you know who his friends were? Piglet?
Yes.
Eeyore?
Yes, I do, actually.
Yeah, you do? Rabbit?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so you know the family, do you? I grew up with...
Do you know Cindy?
What?
And Marsha?
No.
And Jan?
No.
You never watched the Brady Bunch either?
No, fucking
you
Brady
never
Bunch. Wayne, so I tell you what I just noticed that you said.
What?
You said that Gary Ablett Jr. and...
Lance
Franklin one day will become...
Legends.
Of
the AFL.
Because they were great in their day.
Correct.
So why wouldn't Wayne Carey, who was great in his day, by his own concession said he was the best ever?
I didn't.
You didn't.
When did I say that?
Many times.
Oh, I did.
Notice I'm sitting up so I don't look as though I'm a dwarf.
I did.
So why wouldn't Wayne Carey ever become a legend?
We're not talking about me. We're talking about...
I'm talking about
this is my opinion.
Why wouldn't why wouldn't you become a legend?
It's up to a panel of judges.
And why wouldn't they put you up as a legend?
I don't know. Let's
you know exactly why they wouldn't put you up.
Let's change the subject.
Why? Well, I like talking about you.
No, I don't. I don't. So
It is ridiculous that they wouldn't put you up as a legend.
I'm glad you at least came here today, because you normally come here with just political crap.
I said I found out you don't like
with
about
something with a bit of football content that we can dig our teeth into.
Well,
and you do know who Macca is, and you know how Ralphie is from the Herald Sun. Actually, did you know Mark Robinson has left the Herald Sun? Did you know that?
I did. I texted him the day he went, and
the
I
chief
spoke
football
to him.
writer.
Yes.
Did he leave, or was he nudged?
He was nudged off 360.
No, that's 360. I'm talking about the Herald Sun.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, so he's left the Herald. He's no longer the chief footy writer.
Well,
I've read somewhere.
Well, I didn't know. I don't know why, but I get on well
So
with Mark Robinson.
So do we know
I could
who
ring him up now and see if he would answer the phone.
Do we know who the new chief? Because it went
Might
from...
be Macca or Ralphie or someone.
It went from... I think it should be Jay Clark, actually.
Who?
Jay Clark, Jay-Z. He works for Triple M. Jay
works
on Fox Footy. Jay Clark. I think he should be the chief footy writer. I don't know whether they've made the decision yet.
What about you?
So it's gone from the great Mike Sheehan, and then went to obviously Robbo.
Yeah.
And I think Jay Clark.
Who was before Mike? Alf Brown.
Was it?
I don't know. Wasn't it?
They're going back before my day.
I thought you were a historian.
I'm a boy from Wagga Wagga. We didn't get the Herald Sun.
I knew who Fonz was.
Thank
why
God
you know
we
who
didn't
Alf
get the Herald
Brown
Sun.
was?
I know who Alf Brown was, because there's an award named the Alf Brown Award.
That's right. He was the chief football writer for the Herald Sun.
Okay.
So
we don't know who the...
you said you're not into politics and all that, and so that's why I'm not going to ask you things like Anthony Albanese said that Australia...
don't go into that. I don't... Yeah. You can tell me... You can give me a quote that he says. I can either agree with it or disagree.
Well, but I'm only trying to stick to things I think you're comfortable with. I don't want to extend your... I'm so Anthony. I've had these
Anthony
written down
Albanese.
here.
I know who Anthony is. I know who...
the Prime Minister.
Yes.
He said that Australia is going to help rebuild Gaza. You think?
I can't.
You don't want to give it.
I don't want to get into that.
You don't think your tax dollars should go to help building Gaza? Do you?
No.
I won't ask you that, because you're not into the political side of it.
I probably don't. I think there's enough work to be done here, to be honest. That would be my opinion.
What a great point. That is the point, of course.
Thank you.
What about...
Jeez, I'm glad I've made...
No, that's my opinion too. What about the fact... What about the fact that... So, let me get this here. Have you heard of the Birdman, BYRD, who's defacing and graffitiing? Would you like...
Yes,
His name is Dan McGinnity.
And is he called the Bird? I assume he's called the Birdman because...
BYRD.
No, but is that because he can get into high places?
I have no idea.
Because most of these things,
so
it just astounds me they can get up so high.
Bit of a political question. I'm trying to find something that you're comfortable other than football.
No, I think we've covered a lot of stuff other than football.
All right.
We've covered airport lounges.
Do you admire Mr. Birdman, Mr. Daniel McGinnity?
I admire Mr. Birdman. The only thing... No, I don't, because I don't think you should be defacing property full stop. But what I do admire, and as I said to you, is when I drive down the freeway or anywhere for that matter, and I look at a building. Actually, I was with driving with Jess the other day, maybe coming back from and she
Father
looked,
of the year.
The bird, and he's the one drawing that bird-looking thing.
He's the man defacing all the buildings.
But is that the one that it's like a bird-looking? Oh no, sorry, yes. I just can't believe Is he abseiling down the buildings? Like what? How's he do? I'm fascinated by that. I would love to ask him, how do you get up there, and how much planning goes into doing this? Because it's almost like robbing a bank. Because there must take a lot of planning.
You're the most simplistic man. You're not simple. You're the most simplistic man I've ever met. I asked you, do you think the bloke defacing these buildings is? Do you like that?
No, I don't.
He's a piece of crud.
No, I don't.
He's a piece of scum.
I don't like it.
What is he doing it for, and why is he allowed to?
If it was my building, I'd be very.
It's happening all over the city.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, is he? Surely he's doing a little bit of. He's behind.
Dan
bars,
McGinnity. I'm on a roll with interviewing people. Dan, if you'd like to come in here and I'll have a chat to you about why you're defacing the city and could you justify it and why do you do it, come in here and have a chat to me.
It's not even a great symbol. I don't think it's a great sort of. I think
he's an arsehole.
I think he could do a bit of work on his art.
He's just trying to be an Andy Warhol for 15 minutes in his life, ruining all the good structures and all the sound baffles that are on the West Gate.
I think what he needs to do is go to a good graffiti person and learn how to paint better.
I'm good. So you're happy with that topic?
Yes. All good.
What about Great Northern?
Great Northern.
Their beer. You said you drink their beer sometimes.
I was actually at Ribera's yesterday.
Fish restaurant.
Yeah, Ribera's.
Johnny Ribera.
Johnny Ribera.
In the hotel just next to
Port
Ingles.
Melbourne. I went there yesterday.
Who are you there with?
A couple of lads. And
what was it? Celebrating wetting the baby's head, or
the baby might be drowned.
Cold.
The baby's had a lot of
Father of the Year
head wetting. Head wetting since he's come home, and bedwetting. No, it's beautiful food. But the reason why I bring it up because I actually had a beautiful, crisp Great Northern out of the tap. And if you do want it, the Ribera's is very good. So's the Emerald. So's the Rising Sun. So's Lamaro's.
Ding, ding, ding. Ching.
So's the Pier Hotel. They're all just local. So's the Albert Park. They're all just great pubs around this area. And they all have... Actually, no, the Albert Park doesn't have Great Northern. But
the reason
Ribera's does. So, yes, I had one yesterday.
Well, they've hit the wall a bit because they decided to go woke and buy land that they were going to cede to groups who wanted to save the planet and they've decided to not allow... people and tourists to go on it,
I noticed people were shooting the bottles and
that's right, because they
bottles.
take exception to them deciding that they'll go woke and try and save the planet in the name of...
The CEO stood down?
Yeah, and they've found that it's affected the bottom line, so they've completely rescinded that and they've got back to doing what they do best, and that's making beer. A bit like, have you heard of a person called Dylan Mulvaney?
Highest selling beer in Australia. What's that?
Dylan Delvaney. Mulvaney. She was the transvestite or the trans woman or person or diddler who decided to do Budweiser decided to do a campaign to see if they could woo the LGBT.
That was years ago, yeah.
That was 2 years ago. Yeah. They almost went out of business, Budweiser, and they gave her the arse very quickly because people don't like to be told how to live their life, who they should follow, what group of people, gender notwithstanding, they should follow. Just leave them to do what they do, and Great Northern have found that out very quickly.
I do agree. It's, you were talking about being at Ribera's. One of the gentlemen I was there with yesterday said he went to the tennis and watched one of the finals, and he didn't realise that at Rod Laver there is actually there's obviously a disabled toilet, which we all know, and there should be, and you've got your normal men and women toilets, and there was a transgender, or I think transgender toilet, or there's a toilet at Rod Laver Arena. He said he had the option of going in, and he said there was a bit of a lineup for the male, so he went into the and I don't know whether it was transgender or what it was, but it was something different other than disabled or men and women. So he decided to go in there because there was no one in there. And when he came out, he had a few funny looks. And he said, I don't care. He had to go in and do his number twos or number ones or whatever else is. And he, so I didn't know that.
So
I didn't know that they had that at Rod Laver Arena.
No,
is that going to be a thing? Do you think?
I'd say it's
when we go to but when you open a new hotel, or you open or let's say the Albert Park or the Emerald or one of these pubs, are they going to have another option? I sort of hope they do. It gives you another option.
I'd say it's a thing fast disappearing at the Rod Laver Arena and anywhere that you'll have three different toilets to suggest three different genders.
It just gives you another option.
There are two genders in this world, no matter what you call yourself.
More toilets, the better, I reckon.
Yeah, why don't we just have one big toilet, male? Don't even name them. This is a toilet.
I love unisex toilets.
I
think you should.
What?
Yeah.
What, do you like to go and watch women have a piss or something, or what do you like them for?
I just think they're
listen to women chatting in the cubicle. What? Breaking wind. What do you like? Unisex too. Don't make a statement. What do you like unisex toilets for?
Unisex toilets.
So you'd like to go in while women are doing their business?
No, I just
you don't. Well, you just said you did.
Yeah. Well,
what do you like about unisex toilets?
They save space. They save space. They save space.
Have you ever seen a woman go into a men's toilet?
The SB Hotel has, they're all unisex toilets. I mean, obviously they have male, but it's the same area.
Yeah.
So you walk into the same, what I mean by you walk into the same area. You still have
I know what it means.
Women and men, yeah.
Have you ever seen a woman go into a male toilet and have a squirt in the urinal?
No, not in the... I've seen women go into male toilets, into the men's toilets.
But not if the cubicles are full, just go and squat squat over the urinal.
Not in the weed trough.
Squirt it into the stainless steel shield.
That's being a little... facetious.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering why you were delighted to go into unisex toilets. So all right. So that's great. So these are things I'm not sure if you like talking about. But here's a sport. Mark Latham was criticised. He criticised the MCC Melbourne Crew because they put up on the board the name A. Sutherland for the person who has made a double century at the MCG, and they didn't delineate that she is a woman. And I couldn't agree with Mark Latham more, not because they didn't identify that she was a woman. Out of courtesy and decency, wouldn't you think you'd say A. Sutherland, you'd put either Ms. or that she is a woman? Why does she want to be lumped in with all the other people on the board when no one knows she is the first woman to have been put on the board?
Yeah, I
agree with Mark Latham. He said it was being woke, not putting her on. I'm saying it's discourteous not to say that is a woman. I would
agree with that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, why wouldn't they say that she's a woman? Because there's another Sutherland on the board, and they said, well, it's quite obvious it's not the male Sutherland because his name starts with D and her name starts with A. How would you know that if you went there?
Might have cost too much to put some extra...
MS. They should put Ms. or F for female.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
So the MCG being absolutely pedantically woke and bullshit.
Talking about venues, we've had and you know you go off what you read, and well, I don't go off what I read, but you read all of these stories. And over the summer, we spoke about Liam Ryan, who's just been basically looking after himself, but he's got into a bit of a scuffle over in Perth. You pick up the paper yesterday, and Maisie and over the summer Bolter and all these guys. You don't. People have no idea about what these, and this isn't me going on protection mode about AFL footballers, and there's clearly people have made mistakes when they've gone out, and I'm one of them. I've got into blues. I got into blues when I was young, with people coming up thinking they're good enough, and you're an AFL footballer, and they want to have a little bit of a go at you, and then they get sat on their ass. And back in the day, that's what happened. You walk away now. You know what I mean?
You walk away now, do you?
Well, you have to, but the only if you do have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
If someone comes up to you, and stands in your face,
yes,
and looks threatening,
yeah,
you are allowed to defend yourself.
What if they verbally? You're allowed
If they
to-
stand in your face in
Yes.
your physical area and
they're
they
not
verbally
touching you.
abuse you,
Yes.
that is abuse.
assault,
Yes,
verbal
correct. You
assault,
are allowed to
or headbutt them. Then
You're
are
allowed
you?
to defend yourself. But what I'm saying is, there just
You
seems
getting a
to
Liverpool kiss.
there seems to be a few of these that have happened this summer, and what people, the people and the flogs that come up and think that they've, you know, they're tough because they've
Take
got
a rise out of you.
got a gut full of beers, and
Great Northern.
and that's called Dutch courage. That's not courage.
All
That's
right.
not the sort of courage.
Heineken then.
That's not the courage you want.
Heineken
It's called
courage.
Dutch courage.
Heineken.
And then they get sat on their bum, and then they go, "Oh, I can't go, and I can't work." And you know, he's an AFL footballer because they want to get something out of it.
Yes.
You know what? You read through it, and it just seems that just this summer, maybe because the sun's been out a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe the sun's got to a few people's heads, but it's it's.
Well,
I've just noticed that
Wayne.
there's been heaps of stories,
Let me have your opinion.
and that's
on,
not saying everyone that's happened to.
Let me
has
have your
done
opinion
anything
on
wrong.
this, Wayne. Along the same line, Sam Kerr. Do you know who she is?
I do, and yes.
She is now in court. Can you believe it? She is in court with her
Second day.
wife.
Yep.
She's married to a
I know Sam's family actually.
good. Well, so
Yep.
she is in court now. Can you believe it? Because she called a policeman a stupid and white. If someone called you stupid, don't worry about stupid. But if someone called you, someone's called you, you're a big oaf, you big white oaf.
I'd take the stupid.
Would you worry if someone called you white? You're a stupid white man. No, of course you wouldn't. But of course, minorities, you can't call someone a stupid black person because you can't degrade minorities. What is... You couldn't believe that Sam Kerr is in court defending herself against this bloke who said his life went into turmoil and he had a depression because he was called stupid and white.
Yeah.
Now, seriously, they've got to have better things to do than string people.
I would have thought.
Her life is
But
her
you know
life
how
is in
this
turmoil.
has been, how this has been reported though, Sam?
Yes.
And once again, media doing what media do. It's been reported that, you know, she could do jail. She could do jail over this. She's got a year. She could do a year's jail, or she could get fined up to $5,000. She'll take that out of her ashtray.
She was reveling and vomited in a taxi and all that, and that's fair enough. No, that's not fair enough.
This is the biggest overblown story I've just about heard
to go
in
to
the last
court,
year.
and this has been going on for months, year.
She did have the chance to pay $2,000 or whatever it was, and it'll be all over. And she's chosen to fight it. It's just been blown in. When you listen, and I've turned on the news. As you know, I'm an early riser, so you get up before the kids, and I always turn on the news to see what's happening, and you listen to this story because I think it's day 2 today or day 3 or whatever, and they're talking about jail time, and they're talking about this, and they're talking about that, and this could ruin her career. What a load of crap.
Well, of course it can ruin a career.
How could it ruin a career?
What if she gets jail time?
Well, she's not going to do jail.
No, but this is my point of bringing this up. Could you believe they've got better things to do in Britain?
Oh, just don't overplay
than peg
that.
someone for saying you're white and stupid.
Yeah, I know.
If you call someone black and stupid, that's different.
I tell you what it is. I tell you what it is, Sam. It's people. We live in an hour. We've lived in this world for a long time. And Australia's becoming pretty bad at it. We're living in a sue world and a illegal
litigious.
Yes, correct. And we it's just what are we?
World.
Yeah, what are
That's
we doing?
a litigious world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've said this many times before, Wayne. I'm not sure that I made this up, but I wish I had. We are living in times where intelligent people are being silenced so that stupid people won't feel offended.
I like that. That's
Yes.
one of your better ones.
It is. That's one of the
like
very accurate.
I like that.
Now, Wayne, we've got. I like to do two segments with you. We've been going for 30. I'd like to do 2 segments with you.
Okay.
But we've got the doctor. Dr. Ben Fordham is going. I'm not sure if he's texted me to say when he's coming on.
Yeah, you have a chat to Ben. I'll have.
I know.
I'll sit on the bench.
Will you?
What else? What else have you got?
No,
there?
I've
what
got
else?
plenty of fucking things. Don't worry about that.
Have you?
Yeah. Have you got anything at all? I noticed.
Yeah.
Have you then?
No, I'm just looking through.
I noticed.
You didn't give me any time to.
Oh no! So I noticed that John Anderson had a thing in about Lionel Rose. I reckon I've been doing this for 5 years.
Well, you know who John. Now, hang on. You didn't know those other two.
Yeah, no, I know who John Anderson.
And but you know John Anderson.
John without an H.
Yes.
John Anderson had in the paper, he said he had the quote of
I
Lionel
didn't
Rose.
realise he still worked for them.
Well, he had the quote. Well, he's about 5 years out of date. He's had the quote of Lionel Rose and a picture of him saying when he won the boxing title in 1968, he said, "Did you do it for the Aboriginals?" He said, "No, I don't go in for this black and white stuff." He said, "I did it for Australia." I've said that for 5 years. John's just got onto that, had a picture of Lionel Rose in there. I said that on Sky News, exactly about the Welcome to Country. Lionel Rose didn't differentiate between who Australians were and whether, not dividing the country. So, John, mate, that's been
One of the great,
probably
great
get up to
boxer,
date
Lionel
with
Rose.
some of the things you bloody put in the paper. How long have we been saying that? As if it was a revelation. What?
One of the great boxers, Lionel Rose.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. Why did you say that?
Well, he was a fantastic boxer.
He was a world champion.
Yeah, I know.
Wayne.
I know.
What do you go?
So
you should write a book.
Well, we've had. Well,
You should
we've
write
had
a
some
book on-
Great, we've had some great champions come through. Obviously, we spoke to Jeff Fennick a little while ago.
You should write a book on the bleeding obvious.
Should I?
Yeah. Yeah, look, Johnny Famishon and Lionel Rose, a picture of them there.
Yeah, you know what I have noticed about. I should bring this up on air, but you know, if you go into my, or anywhere for that matter, and you would not find a photo of me, anywhere.
Yeah.
And I walk into this beautiful venue, and there's just photos of you everywhere.
Well,
It's just photos of yourself with people.
Very glad you brought that up.
Some with people, some with just you.
No, me playing football.
Yeah, you playing football.
Yeah.
Some good highlights, some not so good. But it's good. I do like it. Corey McKernan's very much. He's got a lot of
hang on,
memorabilia
you
of
think
himself.
they're here for me to,
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Actually,
just a minute.
Yes.
I did have pictures of Don Scott up here when Don and I did this. Now I'm going to ask you, could you bring some photographs in?
Do you want me to bring
I do,
myself?
and we'll put them up here because they're there.
Yeah.
Don was there, but seeing as Don doesn't do this anymore, I bought them in so that when people come in as guests and they don't quite know who we are, you are, we put them up there and they say, "Oh, is that what you used to do?" No one ever knows I played football.
I tell you what I do. This is what I do. If people often, kids come up and parents come up and say, "Oh, can they have a photo?" And I go, "The kid wouldn't know, obviously wasn't born when I played football." And they go, "Oh, don't worry, we'll show them." And you know what I say to them? YouTube, don't Google.
Yes, that's right.
YouTube, don't Google.
Now,
so anyway, this is what I wanted to bring up. The Super Bowl, Sam.
Yes.
Do you follow it?
Not really, but I know there's an Australian Islander.
Yes.
Born in Australia.
Yes, and played in one losing already,
Yep.
Super Bowl, so he gets another opportunity to win one, which would be fantastic. And guess what? He's not a kicker. So
No, he's not a
there's
kicker.
been a lot of Australians
He's a
play
big,
in.
strong,
We still
solid,
haven't had a winner.
tough.
Still haven't had a winner.
We had Joe Maguire won the collegiate.
Oh, well, that's not a Super Bowl, but yes, he had
No,
one.
I tell you
He had
what.
one kick, Joe.
What?
He had one kick.
Well, that's what he's designed to do, isn't it?
Well, sometimes they have more than one.
What? Do they?
Yeah, they get more than one kick a game.
He's got a championship ring on his finger.
Yeah, I know, but he only had one kick. I'm not potting Joe, obviously. I'm just
you're not?
saying. He only had one kick, and he also grabbed the ball and placed it.
Yeah.
Yes, he did that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I'm not potting. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm saying this particular gentleman. It starts with M,
Yeah.
I think.
So how many kicks has he ever had?
He's playing.
How many kicks?
He plays more. He plays a bigger
How
role.
many kicks has he had?
None. He doesn't kick it.
So why is
He's
it
not a
called
kicker.
football? Well, Joe Maguire has had 100% more kicks in a game called football than
him.
this bloke's ever had
Yeah, that's
because
very-
he never
okay.
touches the
That's
ball.
very true.
All he
So-
does is block.
So do you?
I'm not knocking him either.
Will you be watching it?
No.
I might come in a bit because they normally have
Watch
a bit
it
of
on the big screen here.
They normally have a bit of a Super Bowl party and there's a lot of Super Bowl parties that'll go on around Melbourne. And I
Yeah,
assume
you can
everywhere
wet
else.
the baby's Cole's head again.
And well, it's just a good excuse to
get
wet the
pissed
head.
and have a fight and belt someone who comes up to you and gives you a hard time.
So the Super Bowl is that's why I just wanted to know whether you were looking forward to it or not. Whether it's something
it's just such a contrived.
What
Wayne,
about it? You know, it's coming to the MCG.
Yes.
The
I do.
NFL.
Next in 2026.
And you know, the Sydney siders are not happy with the fact that the
going to the
MCG,
MCG.
Melbourne, we've got it here in Victoria, like we do all the big
So Wayne,
sporting
just picking
capital
you
of
up on the
Australia.
boy that's playing for the in the
what's
Super
his-
Bowl, who's never had a.
So can we find out? What
I would
his-
venture to say, and I'm not knocking him, I'd venture to say he's never touched the football. That's not what he does. He's a blocker, is he not?
It starts. I can't pronounce his last name. Millet. Yeah, I knew it started with M.
Jordan Mailata.
Yes, that's him.
Jordan Mailata. So Jordan
He
has
spoke
never
very well.
Has he ever touched the football? Not kicked it, touched it, or does he just block?
Yeah, he's a defensive player. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so he never touches the actual football, let alone kick it. Joe Maguire touched it, by your calculations, twice. He kicked it once and placed it once.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't watch the whole. I just saw the highlights of him, and I assume they put all the highlights on, and that was the two that I saw.
So why do they? So why do they call it football then?
No, well, I concur. Why do
Because
they?
only one person ever kicks the ball, and I think the quarterback throws it.
So
Doesn't he?
Are you happy with them calling AFL football?
Well, at least they.
We do kick it.
Yes.
But we also handball it. And
No, but
everything
we
else.
actually kick it. The
The only true sport
Of
that
course,
is football is
is
obviously soccer.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'm not a soccer, but all the soccer fans will all agree with that, clearly. But I do look forward to the Super Bowl for that reason, Sam. It's an excuse on a Monday to go and
Have a drink. Get into a fight.
I might have
Get your name in the paper.
Get my name in the paper. Gee,
Could I?
I won't be getting in any fights or anything.
When we were talking about Great Northern, I meant to mention, do you know a bloke called Spud Carroll?
Of course I do.
Do you?
Rugby league.
Yes.
legend.
Well, Spud's brought out a beer called Spudweiser. Oh, Spudweiser?
Budweiser. He would have been sued over
You would
that.
think that, wouldn't you? But Spud's got a new ad out. He says he finds it hard to get it into the Dan Murphys and that because, well, you would, wouldn't you? Great Northern have to pay a fortune to get, but he said you can buy Spudweiser online, and
I reckon he might be getting a letter from Budweiser.
and it
because
says,
it's too similar.
give a bud a spud. That's
Give a
his
bud-
slogan.
Is
Give
it?
a bud a spud.
No,
He's got a
made
new jingle out.
A guy I know had a watch called
Spud
Jagger. Jagger watches.
Yeah.
And guess who he got a letter from?
Mick,
Jagger.
did he?
Yep. Saying you have to rename your watch, which he'd been going for years and years, had to rename his watch.
Does Mick Jagger have a brand of watches?
No, he doesn't.
Well, that is ridiculous.
But he had to do it. He changed it.
What happens if your name was McDonald and you opened a little side hamburger store down on the coast?
He didn't call McDonald. I don't reckon you'd be able to.
You wouldn't
name it
even get the
McDonald.
you wouldn't even get the sign up on the door before they burnt it down.
Did you like that movie, The Founder?
Of the McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yes, I watched that.
Do you think he should have paid the 1% royalty that he said he had the handshake deal for? Of which the McDonald boys would be receiving over $100 million a year to this every year, which they haven't received because he reneged on that. He obviously was the reason why they grew to where they got to.
I
and
think
they're the
Kerry
biggest.
Packer. I'm not sure if it was Kerry Packer. It might have been Kerry Stoke. So
One of the
please-
Kerrys.
Someone
Yep.
was asked by the man who Bill Gates, did he want to invest in IBM what Bill Gates invent? What? Microsoft. Back in the day, it said, did he want to invest and have a share and put some money into because he was developing a computer? And the bloke looked at it. Please, it's probably not Kerry Packer. Someone looked at it from Australia and said, oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think it's got a future. And said, had he taken the share, he'd be worth, they said not $1 trillion, he'd be worth $500 billion now.
Well, even a person that has proclaimed, not a very smart man, even he invested a lot of his money once he made big money in the shrimp business. Forrest Gump invested in Apple. Remember when Forrest invested in Apple?
Forrest
Gump.
That's
when he made all his
Tom
money.
Hanks.
When he made all his money with the shrimp company, he then invested some money in Apple.
Well, this is a similar thing, although that's made up.
And he's not a very smart man. And you know what? Mama says life's like a box of chocolates.
Oh, you never know what you're going to get.
get.
So I tell you who's just walked in.
Oh, who?
The chicken.
Oh, the chook.
And I knew he'd walked in, the chook, because he sent me a picture on his phone of him obviously managing you in the day.
Signing back in the day where we had heaps of Fredis there.
The chicken wants to. Do you want to come over here, chicken? Quickly. I'm waiting for. I think the doc is going to ring in. I think the doc is going to ring in.
We've been going for 40. G'day, Chook.
How are you, Duck? How are you, Samuel? So you two
What
are
do you-
staying out of trouble. That's good to see.
What do you do? What are you up to these days?
You're
What are
just
you?
talking about Kerry Packer. Here's a story that not many people know, but back in 1996.
Oh, you were managing him?
No. He asked me if another way around, but anyway, he wanted to manage me. But he asked me to come to Sydney because he created, of course, the cricket against cricket around the world, the one-day cricket.
Oh well, he
He was
was.
going to create his own AFL competition, and he was going to make me CEO. And I think back to this day, what if there'd been another?
Well, wasn't he a part of the Super? Was he part of the Super League?
is
Oh
there
no,
any-
was that Murdoch? Was that him or Murdoch? I think that was Murdoch, wasn't it? That was
Chicken,
doing the Super
is
League.
there any way you can quantify that story, or have you just made that up?
Because
Have you got a letter saying to that
No,
effect?
because Lloyd Williams, who started Crown Casino,
Yes.
was one of his best friends.
He was sitting next to you when he offered
He
you.
coordinated a meeting with me to go and meet with
Did
Kerry
he?
Packer in Sydney. Yeah, I went out to the Essendon airport, sat there for an hour because they said they were still talking about it, and then got a message to say they'd changed their mind.
Well,
The Chook's got to get on the mosh.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, he's got the curls trained over the ball pit.
the Chook. He says the curls. He said the curls. He reckon. Oh, the curls. He's just gone. You've gone off the mosh, have you?
Gone off the mosh, but I might get back.
You got to get back on the mosh, mate.
The lights on top of your head don't help you.
Mate, you got you go
Now,
on.
I've just got
I
a text.
can read the scoreboard through your hair.
I've just got a text from Dr. Ben Fordham. He's coming on shortly, but it'll give us enough time to wind this up because it will be nicely timed. Doug, now
Yes,
you're
very
welcome
good.
to stay with the doc.
I'll let you.
But
have
I
a
tell
chat
you
with
why
the
you probably
doc.
wouldn't
the reason why I've got to run a little bit early today, as I look at my Chewy there on my phone, which I've just saved there for later.
I've got a feeling the doc will want to speak to me about some events of the week, and I don't want you to be here if he does. I'm insisting you don't be here because I don't want you involved in that at all.
Okay.
I don't know what he's going to speak to me about, but I've got a feeling maybe he will, maybe he won't. So go ahead.
And Chook, we'll leave the Chook in here. He'll add something.
Did he manage you well? Did he get top dollar
Chook,
for you? What were you earning when you left North Melbourne?
I just want to say I'll say one thing about the Chook, and Chook's had his adventures, and people obviously make their mind. This man here is the very reason why the players that play today get what they get paid. He's the reason why they have endorsement deals. He's the reason why the Players Association is what it is. He helped get Andrew Demetrio become the CEO of the Players Association before he became the CEO of the AFL. I was wearing Nike when the club was sponsored by Diodora. I was all of the things that the players sit back and take for granted now, this man here started. And that is the truth. And every single, and hey, don't get me wrong, he's not perfect clearly, but he is clearly by far the best. And you look at all the best managers now.
Yeah.
All the best managers were all apprentices under the Chook.
Well, and I can tell you what he does do too. If people get in his face, he won't stand it either. He will stand it.
He's got some anger management.
No, that's right. I remember going down to a place called Somerville and stepping outside to have a chat with the chicken, and he fucking headbutted me and karate chopped me, and I said, "Well, thank you." That's going on.
The Chook talks a big game when it comes to that. I'm not sure the Chook's knocking anything sort of.
He was a very famous.
I don't think that. Talking about Great Northern, I don't reckon the Chook could blow the froth off a beer. There you go. All right, that's me.
Just have a look at. He's got a fair glow up, and what the fucking red?
No, he's the cook Chook now.
Look at the Chook.
He's a cook Chook.
Can you see that on? Can you see
And someone said to me the other day, you were the first bloke to walk in. You heard on the podcast that you claim you're the first person to walk into North Melbourne with shaved balls or shaved between the legs.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the bloke said to me, I don't reckon that's the first close shave Wayne Carey's ever had.
Oh,
So
the chicken goes bang. Oh, fuck me.
Leave it at
You
that.
wouldn't believe it. Duck.
Good to see you,
Well
Sammy.
done. Well done. You've finally come good with some lights and shit and that. And
Yes.
Father of the Year, you're a star. You and the Fonz. We're winding this up. Chicken, you got any other announcements? Quickly.
just quickly.
Quickly?
No, not that quickly, no. Okay. Actually, just one last thing. I was moving house this week, as you know, and I found Wayne Carey's original contract, and I said to him, how do you reckon that was negotiated? And he said, well, it wouldn't have been emails, would have been a facsimile back in those days. It was a handwritten letter. To
Ronioed it would have been. How much were you earning when you finished playing at North Melbourne? I'll ask
the same as what the best players get paid now. So the absolute top wage hasn't gone up. We'll talk about that next week, Chook. See ya.
All right.